From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big day at noontime, direct from Santa Monica, live on air with your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In today's recording, we go over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon. Done deal, signed, sealed. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people under the fourth stimulus recall. The biggest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel. I'll go over what this means for you and what is application-based stimulus. Then we turn to the incredible great news about the MSC monthly stimulus checks and why the number one person in the equation has your back and why you need to have his back as well. At noontime, for the first time ever, we're going to go over the calculation about these MSCs and the payments and how this calculates out for you. And then you're going to need a new familiar face. Well, not a familiar face, just someone that, keeps track of time. It's the Wens. You're going to meet Wendy and Will Wen of Wentzville, Missouri. They always say when. And guess what's happening now? It's the start of noontime. Hey, good noontime, everybody. It's a beautiful day here on Labor Day weekend, direct from Santa Monica, live on air with the latest details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this wonderful recording, we're going to go over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon. Done deal, signed, sealed. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you and the American people under the biggest recon we've ever had across this channel. And we're going to go over why Purple Hawks are going to kill it in this big fourth stimulus recon. Then we turn to the number one guy who's flexing his muscles to make sure you get the big money you're deserved. This is that MSC we've been talking about, and we're going to go over the details of how this calculates out for you as well as we go into a big noontime direct from Santa Monica. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week. Financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Afternoons LALATE. And then another Afternoons LALATE, and then Evenings LALATE. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. The link is under the video to join as a member right today. Meantime, if you've not signed up for those LA alerts, please do so because you'll get alerts when something happens. It's totally free. It's at news.la.com. Put your name and email address in there, and then you'll get an alert for a video like this one that'll look like that. Let's cut to those monthly stimulus checks, House versus Senate, Senate versus House, starting right now. AOC Omar calling for a monthly stimulus check, but not saying the number of months, but saying $2,000 a month. Then we have the House Ways and Means calling for a monthly stimulus check, but not saying how many months or the amount. We have the American petition signed by millions of Americans calling for $2,000 a month, but not saying how many months. And then we have Warren, Wyden, and Sanders saying monthly, but not saying the amount. And then finally, the one item that has captivated country has been that House bill, pandemic plus 1 year. First month, $2,000, $1,000 thereafter. That is $1,000 per month, not $2,000 per month. And there you go. I think you have an opinion at noontime. Vote House or Senate, House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how the weather is where you are on this beautiful Labor Day weekend. Stay with me all weekend long because I'll have a lot of great shows for you all weekend long. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? You do. Democrats represent that. If you got third, you get a fourth stimulus check. Single individual, $75,000 or less, Democrats represent, you get a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less, Democrats represent, you get a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Family of four, Democrats represent, you get a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Democrats represent, you get one as well. The fourth stimulus check is not income. It's not taxable. And the fourth stimulus check is not a different check for different people. Finally, the fourth stimulus check is not a waivable check. So if you're at the beach this weekend and the check walks up to you and starts waving, don't be shocked. It's not the U.S. check. It's a German check. He's on vacation. Just very friendly check. Very, very friendly check. If another check walks up to you and starts kissing you on both cheeks, 1, 2, It's the Italian check. There you go. In the second half of this video, we'll go over all the incredible details about that fourth stimulus recon, application-based generally. I'll explain what that means for you and what this is happening about these incredible 3.5 trillion. It's wonderful news. Stay the final 15 minutes of this video. It's coming up. Also, we'll be going over the big talk about those MSCs and why the #1 guy on Washington has your back on this. It's incredible, breaking, world-exclusive news you're hearing only on this channel. But first, let's get a pen and paper ready because we're going to get some money for rent and utilities. And yesterday, I introduced you to a new cast member on this channel. Her name is Freedom Frida. She has a lot of freedom of speech to say, and guess what? She has freedom of speech for fake facts, according to her. So what does Freedom Free to say? In addition to having that strange eyebrow thing she does, she says, why are we talking about third stimulus when we're on fourth stimulus? Because of a very simple reason. Fourth stimulus is not paying you this week, it's not paying you next week. And fourth stimulus is not paying, but third stimulus is. And it's paying viewers a fortune of money. A fortune of money, which calls me to call into our new cast of characters, the Wens. Have you met them yet? They're Wendy and Will Wen of Wensville, Missouri. What do they say? All they ever say is when. So when can you get this third stimulus money? Right now, Wendy. Not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now, right now. We had some incredible new success stories over the overnight and the end of this week, and let's go over the details. We had Kyra getting 17,000, Valerie getting 9,000, and Renee getting 3 items. But our inspiration comes from Johnny. Johnny got 19,000. Excuse me. Johnny got $80,000 from this channel last weekend. Yeah, you heard that right. 80,000, $80,000. He started the week at 0 and ended the week at 80,000. He was one of 3 viewers who ended the week at over $40,000. What did he get? He got 7 items for this channel. 7 items means 7 different phone calls, 7 different places, and you can do this as well. He got $12,000 for SNAP. He got $10,000 for EIDL. He got $2,000 for taxes. He got $21,000 for housing, $25,000 for another housing, $10,000 for utilities, and then $50 a month for internet. Johnny is not a rare circumstance because we have viewers daily who are getting anywhere from 5, 10, 20, 30,000 to 50, 80, $100,000, and it's your day to get this big money as well. So get that pen and paper ready right now because this is money available for you right this moment. And when we look at the rent, let's look at it. It's over $20,000 that viewers, Purple Hawks, this channel have been getting. Have you become a Purple Hawk yet? You need to. The link is under the video. There we go. Look at those range of rent that people are getting from this channel, $20,000 to $27,000. When we talk about the utilities, you saw Johnny, he got $9,000. The numbers keep on going higher by the moment. And then when we talk about SNAP, Johnny got money for SNAP. He got $16,000, but you're going to meet someone in a second who got $25,000. Just a few days ago, Robert said thank you. Said, Robert, I want to thank you because I got approved for $18,000 for rent, $16,000 for SNAP, so he's in the money right there as well, and $7,000 for utilities. Keep on doing a wonderful job. God bless you for all the help you do. My name is Dread in the live chat. Been following you since the start of the pandemic. Thank you, Robert. So let's go with the 3 items. There you go. Nancy getting 3 items at $32,000. Nisi 3 items at $23,000, and Mark 2 items at $32,000. Mark inspires us a lot because of 4 wonderful things that happened from Mark. Yeah, he got 2 items at $32,000, but within 5 days, Mark got the 3rd item because I said it on camera for 5 days. It's SNAP. He got that SNAP within 5 days. Can you imagine? Number 2, he told his friends about this channel. If you haven't told your friends about this channel, please do, because it's a common occurrence. We had another viewer detailed on Mornings LA. She told her friend last week, and the friend went from $0 to $21,000 in 1 week. Mark's friend went from $0 to $20,000 of rent in 1 week. And then finally, Mark shows us to not stop at 2 items. He's now fighting to get 4 or 5 items. Incredible, great push by Mark as well. But what did Mark get for SNAP eventually? He got $19,000, bringing his grand total on this channel to $50,500 because this is what this channel does. This is what money you can get as well. And let's look at the next push, which was Lorraine, who got over $106,000 from this channel. And this is LA. There's no channel like this anywhere on the map. This morning, broadcast news channels were talking about evictions. Evictions, people are being evicted. And here's a person being evicted, and here's another person being evicted. And then they talked about, well, it's hard to get money. Did they show their viewers how to get the money? No. Did they walk anyone through the application about how to get the money? No. Is anyone else out there trying to fight to get you money every single day for over a year and a half? No. Except here, you found the place. I launched this channel on April 25th because the EID alone was not paying people. People had applied and they were stuck in what I call the 330, the 331, and the 484 text. But one after another, I got them approved. $25 million of EID loans approved from this channel. 3 days later, there was another thing going live. It was a confusing application because no one had seen it before. It was brand new. It was supposed to start nationwide on April 28th. It didn't. Only a few states started it. Florida was delayed by 2 months approximately. Eileen Bellenkamp, because of my videos, got $15,000 for this. What was this confusing application? PUA. And then in fall 2020, second stimulus was not coming, sort of like fourth stimulus this week. So I stepped forward and I got your money. $250,000 for rent, like Tyrone and his family for out of Boston. Paid all their rent to the new year. Now is available, this money right now, so get a pen and paper ready. We're going to get this money for rent, utilities, food, internet, mortgages, and utilities. I want you to exhaust as many as you can. If you got one, you're going to get 7. Get that pen and paper ready. Here's some introductory remarks. Number 1, I'm going to show you 6 places to reach out to, so reach out to all 6. If the first one says no, don't worry, they have different eligibility. They also have their own pot of money. Number 2, it's important to understand that when you reach out to them, use the keywords I say in this video. Third, what I want you to understand is that every state has been given the same amount of money based upon the number of citizens from the federal government. All right, here are the money. Here are the places you reach out to. Your city hall, your city house authority. Your county hall, your county house authority. Your state hall, your state house authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. That's 4. Let me do that again. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city house authority, 2. Your county hall, your county house authority, 4. And your state housing authority, 6. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID and mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. And there you go. Congratulations, Tim and Linda, who got this wonderful pot of money, and you can as well if you got this money posted in the live chat right now. The next pot of the money is the money coming back from your coming back for SNAP. Oh, it's a lot of money. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got it as well. What is SNAP? It's money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. Reach out to get it. And Mark, you saw, got $19,000. Well, guess what? It's now worth $25,000. What happened? 2 weeks ago, I revealed the details live on camera. Department of Agriculture is raising everyone's benefits up so that you're on average going up an average of 25% lifetime automatically nationwide starting October. It's incredible, great news. If you got that SNAP, post in the live chat right now. The next part of the money is the refund check coming back for your state due to overpayment of unemployment benefits and a computer error. That's for states that had not upgraded their computers. One viewer got $3,000, another viewer got $5,000 for this. Well, the incredible details is that the federal government has ordered this return back to you. One viewer got this money. Others continue to get this money. Actually, 3 viewers have got this money. And guess what? 4 states have also been ordered to upgrade the computer systems just in time because, you know, those keyboards made out of stone are sort of outdated by now. And then finally, the refund check coming back from IRS. This is the taxes you're paying unemployment benefits on. The unemployment benefits you pay taxes on, that refund check is coming back. Average check is somewhere between $1,200 to $2,000. Margaret got it, Todd got it, Michael got it. More about that in a second. But here's a personal message from me to you. If you're in the live chat and you've not posted a success story for rent, utilities, food, or internet, please do, because when you do, you inspire and help other people. This channel was launched for me to help get people money, and people are killing it, doing incredibly well. But when you post a success story, you inspire people. People realize, wait a second, I see someone getting money and another person got money. I should get this money. I should get the money. I need to make the phone call. Number 2, people realize the sums of money are bigger than bolder than ever before. Number 3, they realize there's a lot of other monies maybe out there for them to get. They may have only gotten 1. Time to get 7. Let's go back to those unemployment benefits. Where they land, you direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. Can you track it? Yeah, go to irs.gov and do a transcript search. And 70% of the time it will work and reveal the tax return you're getting, the tax refund check, and the tax return you filed. And it'll also reveal 70% of the time stuff you wish you had never seen. Like, really, what does $12 ice cream taste like? Does it taste like $11 ice cream? Can we top that? Yes, as we go into the second part of this 4 stimulus check updated 2021, starting right now. Deal done, sign, seal. A recon of 3.5 trillion has passed. Incredible, great news. Giving you an incredible recon, number one, of 3.5 trillion. Number two, all checks for the American people. Oh my goodness. Now, this is wonderful news. In the third part of this video, stay to the final 15 minutes of this video. I'm going to go over what these application-based checks are and why this is the greatest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel. How do they do this? Well, they did this by taking the roads and bridges out of the recon, putting it into something called the bipartisan. A conservative publication confirms my reporting. The higher the price tag was on the recon, the harder it was to pass. There you go. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon, the roads and bridges put in the bipartisan, the overall price tag of the recon got smaller. In other words, the recon was made passable by the bipartisan. There's different types of ways to do news reporting, but the one you're watching here is the best one. Which is where you report the news before it happens, not report the news after it happens. In the month of June and July, I told you that the recon was going to pass easily because they had already agreed upon this. Now, here's something you're learning for the first time at noontime right now, which is the following. This is how legislators do things. They first meet in their offices, go and have lunch, have a cup of coffee, talk to the other legislator. That's called caucusing, and say, what do you think about this? Do you agree upon this? Yeah, I do. No, I don't. Yeah, I do. Change this, change that. That's what's called caucusing. They verbally agree to certain things. Once they verbally agree to something, then they come back and they write it. And then once it's written, then they vote on it. Guess what Wendy and Will Wen always talk about? When is the bill? When is the vote? When is the bill? And when is the vote? All they ever say is when. Well, the bigger question is, when are they going to agree upon something? The big when is, when does someone agree upon something? And that's what Ron Wyden said this week, that they're working tooth and nail around the clock, and also this weekend, so Chuck Schumer 5 times a day he's talking with Bernie, to agree upon the terms and conditions. Once you agree upon the terms and conditions, then everything is done, smooth sailing. So I have always someone that drops in the comments, well, when is the vote? What day is the bill? No. At that point, they've already agreed upon the terms. You want to get to them while they're doing the terms and conditions. And that's why, in the month of June and July, they already agreed upon the recon procedural of the 3.5 trillion. They agreed they're doing a recon, and they agreed they're doing a recon of 3.5 trillion. That was done, so that by the time they called the vote, it was a done deal. Before they had agreed upon the price tag, everyone said, go big and bold. That's where Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat out of Minnesota, and Representative Richie Torres, Democrat out of New York, had said, we need a larger recon. We need a recon that goes as big and bold as we want it. And that's why after they agreed upon the price tag, but before they started voting, the president said, protect my recon. That's what Jolapal and Brian Schatz were told by the president, that everything in that recon is progressive priorities, not just everyone's priorities, but the White House's priorities. So what is a recon? What is a bipartisan? Let's go over all the details starting right now. Number one, the recon, the tow truck has passed over the finish line. Yes, time to go get the tow hitch. It's the recon procedural. The recon substantive. Now, let's go over the difference between recon and bipartisan starting right now. Two very different bodies of legislation. One concerns you, one doesn't concern you. Recon, your money, also called reconciliation, also called the budget bill, price tag 3.5 trillion. The other names for it are the Democratic spending plan or the Progressive Social Reform Plan, bipartisan. Not your money, roads and bridges, infrastructure. 3 bills, and guess what? Number 1 is passed. The tow truck is fast over the finish line. Recon procedural, done. Done last week. Done. So now we're on recon substantive. This is the tow hitch. And then we have bipartisan. Let's go over the difference between recon procedural and recon substantive starting right now. Recon procedural basically asks, are we doing this? And then recon substantive says, okay, what are the terms? So recon procedural, price tag 3.5 trillion, done. And that committees are given a certain split of the money, $10 here, $20 there. Interesting how I say that. Notice that there's nothing about IRS in here. There's no money going to Department of Treasury to send money out to you. There's money going to committees for those committees to send you money. And then recon substantive, how the committees spend the money. So these are the terms and conditions. That's why you got to push purple power. And how do we get to this wonderful spot? By Jolapal, who originally Schumer and a letter saying, chuck all the vote on the recon. That letter was signed by 12 House Democrats. Part of 100 plus, who recently wrote the president a letter saying, we're putting monthly stimulus checks in that for stimulus recon. Wow, can we top that? Yes. As 7 members of that House Ways and Means subcommittee recently wrote the president a letter saying they're putting monthly for stimulus checks in the for stimulus package. Well, you got to push purple power because let's go over who and what has promised things for you. Warren, Sanders, and Wyden, monthly, but don't say the number of months nor the amount, monthly. Then we have AOC and Omar. They don't say the number of months, but they say $2,000 is the check. Then we have the House Ways and Means. They say monthly, but they don't say the number of months nor the amount of the check. And then the House bill, which says pandemic plus 1 year, $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000. How do we get to this wonderful spot? We got to this wonderful spot by getting something out of that roads and out of the recon that doesn't belong there. It's Biden's doing. That wonderful, confusing thing is out of there. It's called the global minimum corporate tax rate. Exhausting. And now it's easy to call the vote on the recon and easy to pass the recon because this thing is not in there. In the final 15 minutes of this video, we'll go over the number one player in the game who wants to give you an MSC, but what you have to do. Then we're going to go over the calculations of the different MSC approaches, all for you at noontime. We're going to go over what interactivity you've had with the senators in the last week. And then we're going to go over what is next across the horizon. But first, if you need money for renting utilities and food and you've gotten one item, then reach out to the volunteers. Please, please get one item first. Because forced stimulus is all about picking up the phone, calling. I want you to have that pride of ownership, that feel of success, that you got one item on your own because now you know how to do something. Because when forced stimulus becomes law, you're going to have to really pounce and do it. Here's a little bit about the volunteers and the community page. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as noontime continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now, live from Santa Monica, this Labor Day weekend with beautiful weather across the coast. How's the weather where you are? Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from and how the weather is. In this second half of this video, we'll go over forced stimulus and why this application base is going to be wonderful for everyone but Donut Girl. She's going to be left confused because guess what? It's application based. I'll explain what that means for you. Then we got to the number one guy who will be muscling for those MSCs for you. I have all the incredible news about that as well. Then we'll go over the calculations of MSCs and how it calculates out for the first time on this broadcast. During the commercial break, someone said their governor is not giving them their unemployment refund checks. Understand, there is no unemployment refund check on the state level. The one discussed in this video is only national. That is the IRS refund check. States did not adopt the rule of the federal government, so no state is actually giving you an IRS refund check. And there you go. And with that, thank you for joining me in the second half of Noontime. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers at YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Coming up next is Afternoons LA. This video will automatically take you there. It's the 1 o'clock show. Then right after that is the 3 o'clock Afternoons LA. Then Overnight's Crypto, and then Evenings LA at 5 o'clock. So subscribe. Also, like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino, VIP. Meantime, if you've not signed up for those LA alerts, please do so you get those alerts while you're on the road or anywhere across the globe. You can watch this channel mobile at any time. Let's get into that fifth stimulus, which is just underway. Fifth stimulus starts in September, where we are. Guess what? It's September. It's September. Yeah, I know, Colleen. I know it's September. So fifth stimulus starts by raising your benefit limits up, then removing the asset limit, adding the inflationary benchmark, removing the income exclusion, and removing the marriage penalty. How does this work? Step one is they're going to raise your benefits up. Who's you? You. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, SSA, or multiple beneficiaries. Step one is to raise those benefits up under this legislation, which they propose to have a vote by about November. Step two is to apply a new benchmark, the new benchmark inflation. Where's inflation going? It's going to be transitory, meaning it's going to spike around December. How high? I'm saying about 5%. Wow. So let's do the analysis. First, your benefits will go up. Then they'll go up another 5% if that's the inflation rate. Not just next year, but lifetime. Because once your benefits go up, they never go down. Then they're going to move the income cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. They're going to move the asset cap that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. And then the marriage penalty is going to go away. And love is going to win, and you'll be able to do a pair dance at your own wedding like Rob and Sandy. No longer fear loss of benefits. And there you go. That is fifth stimulus. But will there be a fifth stimulus check? There will be. The Democrats represent on the House Ways and Means. And lastly, if you're in the live chat and you don't have a Purple Hawk emoji next to your name, what are you doing? You need to become a member today. Let's understand where we are. We're in September, but in January, the third stimulus package was passing. $1,400 stimulus check. And at the time I said, sure, okay, $1,400. Not really interested in watching that. It'll land when it lands. Focus on you getting the $14,000 on the third stimulus package. Well, viewers have now gotten $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $80,000, $100,000 routinely from this channel from the third stimulus package, and the great news is it's still there. Purple Hawks are those people. Daily, I deliver to Purple Hawks a breakdown of all the big money under first, second, and third stimulus for you to get. It's all breaking down in there because wouldn't you prefer to have $80,000 versus $1,400? Yeah, that was what I said in January. It's much the case right now. And when fourth stimulus becomes law, boy, you're going to pounce as a Purple Hawk because all this money is first come, first serve. So consider becoming a Purple Hawk. And with that, we go into the final 15 minutes of this video, starting right now. Deal done, signed, sealed. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people under the fourth stimulus recon. The recon procedural passed about 2 weeks ago, meaning that the one will be a recon. Number two, it'll be $3.5 trillion. And number three, it'll be all checks for you. Now, I'm going to get to the MSCs in a second, the multiple stimulus checks. But what I want to go over first is these application-based checks. You saw early in the video the graphic where I talked about committees having the money. Because it's not going to be Department of Treasury having your money. Why? Department of Treasury doesn't know about your internet or your hair, your teeth, your eyes, or your leg. And this money is like that. It doesn't concern Treasury, this type of money. So Treasury can't send it out. It'll be at committees. And how would you get it? You call up the committee and say, I want the money. Not like you fill out a 50-page application. That's not what I mean by application-based. I mean that you have to ask for the money to get it. And you're going to qualify for lots of it because there's going to be lots of different checks of all different magnitudes. And you're going to pick up the phone and call because imagine the first and second, third stimulus was this small, big. This one is this big. The previous one, 40, 50% for corporations. This one, all for you. And imagine if you've gotten 7 items like Johnny from third stimulus. Imagine how well you're going to get under fourth stimulus. Yes. So here are some of the proposed items for that fourth stimulus recon. Checks for farmers, checks for elections, checks for free internet, checks for workers, checks for independent contractors, checks for seniors, checks for lowering the eligibility age, checks for dental, checks for vision, checks for hearing care, checks for free school meals for all, checks for tax breaks, checks for cheaper prescription medication, and more. These are all checks for you that are application-based, meaning you have to pick up the phone and get them. And you've been doing this since day one. Whether it's PPP, PUA, PUA, EIDL, PEBT, or anything, SNAP or rent or utilities, you've been doing this since day one because you know how to do this. And this is where you're going to shine. This is where unfortunately, donut girl or donut guy is going to struggle because they just assume everything's automatic. Well, in the case of money that is coming to you from for issues that the IRS would not have known about, like teeth, dental, vision, hearing, that's coming from committees. You have to pick up the phone and call and get it. All right, now let's go over to the add-on to that, which is the multiple stimulus checks. Why do I say add on? Because the 3.5 trillion guaranteed, the 3.5 trillion recon done, and the checks in there done. The terms and conditions of the checks not done. And there's a push on a way to put stimulus checks in there as well. You understand stimulus checks is the one that come from IRS. Let's go over the details of that starting right now. It's important to understand how we got to where we are today in this channel's reporting versus the broadcast media's reporting. Broadcast media, which you don't know, some of the major networks own 200, 300 local stations across the country, have been literally doing the following type of quote-unquote reporting. They go on social media, they go on a social search engine, and they don't see something, they say, I don't see it. And if they don't hear someone say something, they don't ask. Who does reporting where you don't ask someone and you say it doesn't exist because you don't ask? It's sort of like looking at planet Earth saying, it must be flat because I haven't seen the other side. Did you go and look? No, I just assumed. I haven't heard from anyone. Well, that's not reporting what reporting is about. You're supposed to go to the source and ask, is there a stimulus check? Rather, what they did was fake stuff, which is basically, I never called anyone, and hence there isn't anything to tell you. Would have helped if you had picked up the phone and called them. And let's go over what the difference is with this channel. A few weeks ago, a viewer of this channel pushed. And what is Purple Power push? Purple Power was launched by this channel, launched by me last year. I came up with the name Purple Power. I coined the expression on this channel. It started by people referring to me as purple because I was wearing a lot of purple shirts outside. And then I said, you have the purple power because you can make things happen as well. Because they said I was making things happen. I said, you can do it as well. You have the power, you can push as well. Then it evolved to the expression of pushing Purple Power, pushing and advocating for money that's yours, pushing and making history. Well, I had told viewers several weeks ago to pick up the phone and call their elected officials. And some did. And one viewer who did, his name was WR, viewer of this channel, and called Chris Coons, Senator, Democrat, Delaware, old friend of Joe Biden's, to ask the staff, what about a monthly stimulus check? The response was, yes, Senator Chris Coons is actually proposing a monthly stimulus check in the fourth stimulus recon. Well, hello, did anyone else care to call him up besides the viewers of this channel? No, of course not. And then it got even more. Let's understand what we're talking about with this recon. A recon's full name, the fourth stimulus recon's full name, is the fourth stimulus reconciliation budget bill. Notice that word budget. What committee in the Senate oversees this bill, this budget bill? The Budget Committee. Yeah, it's sort of obvious, isn't it? It's just so obvious. And who's chairman of the Budget Committee that oversees the budget bill? Bernie Budget Sanders. That's who oversees it. He's the budget chairman of the Budget Committee that oversees the budget bill. Yeah, very obvious, isn't it? It's very obvious. So if you had a question about the budget, which would involve the stimulus check, would you pick up the phone and call Bernie? Of course you would. Did broadcast media ever pick up the phone and ask him? Of course not. Of course not. Did they ever call him up and say, no, Bernie? No. So what did they do? They sent out to all their local affiliates all across the country, all these broadcast channels, these statements that say, there's no stimulus check because no one's mentioned it. Did you pick up the phone and ask? No, I was, guessing that the earth was flat at the same time. Well, last weekend, Bernie Sanders had a wonderful direct quote. The wonderful direct quote, which I have on set here, said basically the following. Prior budget chairman sort of did stuff within D.C. I like to get out amongst the people and hear from them. What does that mean? He wants to hear your input on how to do the budget. He wants to hear what your opinion of the situation was. To which I then said last weekend, pick up the phone and call Bernie Sanders and express your opinion. Now, not a lot of viewers initially did that. Lynn Glenn did pick up the phone initially. And Brother Joshua, a longtime volunteer from 2020 and viewer of this channel as well, did pick up the phone. Called Bernie Sanders' office, spoke to his staffer professionally, respectfully, and kindly, and asked what Senator Sanders' position on a monthly stimulus check. He wants to do it. In fact, he's going to propose it. Excuse me? Yeah. It seems so obvious. Just pick up the phone and call the person who's the chairman of the budget committee that oversees the budget ability to ask the question. But no one in broadcast media cared to ask the question. No one on other channels cared to ask the question. None of these people care to ask the question. because I don't think they really care to really know the answer. It's sort of like the same broadcast channel that I said earlier in this video says there's people being evicted because of evictions. What do they care to show us where the money is for the eviction money? No. They're just sort of telling us there's evictions. We already know there's evictions. That's a lazy story. That's a lazy broadcast news story that there's evictions. We know there's evictions. How about you show us where the money is when you're running the story? They didn't do that. So let's turn back to Brother Joshua. He called up and said, stimulus checks, yes, Bernie Sanders is proposing monthly stimulus checks. Hello? Number one, great news. Number two, monthly amount, $1,000 to $1,400. Great news. Number of months, 3 to 6 months. Great news. Oh my goodness. Now this is fabulous. So then there was a twist, which was Bernie Sanders needs your support. He needs the American people to be behind him for him to do this, to be proposing. This is what we do, Purple Power. We push. We push. We push since 2020. More about that push in a second. Now let's go over calculations, narratives, and Freedom Frida. So Freedom Frida was quickly to jump on Twitter and some places sporadically. And what did Freedom Speech Frida say, which has, fake facts, with that strange eyebrow? Watch the eyebrow. There it is. What did Freedom Frida say? She said, no, I want the House bill that pays me $2,000 a month for a year. Frida, I know you're fake, but that's not what the House bill said. The House bill never said $2,000 a month for 12 months. You know that if you watch this channel because I cover that House bill every single day, 12 times a day. Yeah, so it's sort of obvious not to miss the details of that House bill. It's $2,000 the first month and $1,000 thereafter. So why would you go on social media and say, I want that House bill of $2,000 a month for 12 months? When there is no such House bill. Doesn't look good for you to say that. Doesn't look good for you to say that. It doesn't show you understand the situation or understand the analysis situation. Now, there's nothing wrong with you advocating a number, but don't say a situation exists when it doesn't exist. Moreover, do you think anyone's going to give you $24,000, a single individual, $24,000 of stimulus checks? No. The House bill was over a year, $13,000. There's a big difference between $13,000 and $24,000. You're nearly putting $11,000 on top of what they're proposing. So it's not just a few dollars off. It's dramatically different. Now, let's go to the next thing to go over, which is that the calculations from Bernie's idea versus the House bill. Bernie's idea sort of mirrors what we talked a lot about in the summer, which was the senators tend to want to pay more on a monthly basis, a quicker cash infusion over a shorter duration, which over the whole total amount would be less than the House, but the House wants to drizzle the money out slowly over a longer period of time. That's if you take the high end of Bernie's numbers. Remember, his range is $1,000 to $1,400. If you take his high end, $1,400, 6 months, that's a lot more getting $1,400 a month than $1,000 from the House bill every month. The House bill's 12 months, and it would take 12 months to get $13,000. This would take 6 months on the high end to get you about $8,900, about $9,000. So not very different. Vote House or Senate, House or Senate if you're on the live chat right now. Next, something I did yesterday but haven't done today yet, I'm going to do it right now, is you need to push, and you need to pick up the phone and call or go to the website and write something. Bernie Sanders needs to see your support. So have you picked up the phone and called Bernie Sanders and be respectful, polite, and kind? Have you gone to his website and sent him a message? Have you gone to his Facebook account and sent him a message? Have you contacted Warren and Wyden, and also Coons, who are part of this quartet, this four-person senatorial group that wants to have monthly stimulus checks? Have you reached out to Coons, Warren, and Wyden and Sanders, and made the push? Have you reached out to anyone else? If you're on the live chat right now, post, and I'll jump into the live chat in a second and see the reaction. If you're on the live chat, post which members of Congress you have contacted. And the reason why I'm asking you to do this is because you inspire other people across the board. You inspire people to pick up the phone and call. Very, very, very important across the board. Let's finally meet our new cast member for this channel. Oh boy, this week we met Calendar Colleen. She's always talking about what month it is, as though we don't know. It's September. Did you know it's September? And then she has dates with this guy. He also has a strange eyebrow thing he does. There it goes. There's that eyebrow. And he's a calendar cod. And what does he always say? Whatever happened in July? Whatever happened July 4th? Did they not remember July 4th? Did they remember July? Do they remember August? You've already met Freedom Frida. She just, all her fake facts. Freedom of speech Frida. She has freedom of speech to say fake facts as often as she can. She also has an eyebrow thing. But today we meet our newest cast member. They are Wendy and Will. The Wens. Wendy Wen. From Wensville, Missouri. They always ask when. That's them and their clock. They have that clock with them wherever they are, because all they ever ask is when. If you're having a conversation about stimulus, that's all they ever say is when. Not very helpful to the situation. It's just not very helpful. What do they say? When is the bill? When is the vote? When are they back in town? When are they in session? When are they voting? When are they meeting? When? Can you just stop it already? Oh my goodness, it's very exhausting. You see why the when is not very helpful. The whens are not very helpful to the equation, because now is the time in which they agree upon the deal provisions of the forced stimulus recon substantive. So wondering what day the vote is irrelevant, because that's not when they hammer out the details. They're hammering out the details now. I went to lunch once with the Wens, Wendy and Will Wen, and the waiter came to ask if we want any water before we put our order in. She said, when? He said, now. When? Man, would you like some water? When? Oh, boy, very annoying. So that's Wendy and Will Wen. Always asking when. Every question on this channel, they start, you'll see them in the comments, they start every question with a when. When? And meantime, let me jump back into the live chat and see what you've posted on which elected officials you have contacted. Let's see who people have contacted. And I'm searching and I don't see anyone yet. Who have people contacted in the live chat of the elected officials? Maybe your fingers are stuck. Yeah. So if you're in the live chat and you feel that maybe you have not contacted your elected officials, because I don't see anyone in the live chat saying they have, need to pick up the phone. Certainly it's a weekend, not now, but next Tuesday, pick up the phone and call your elected officials and contact them and say of the importance of that forced stimulus check. And meantime, stay on this video, because guess what? Afternoons LA starts at 1 o'clock right after this video, 6 seconds after this video. When? 6 seconds after the video. I just told you, Wendy. And then we go into the big Afternoons LA show at 3 o'clock. When? At 3 o'clock, Wendy. What's with you? And then we go into Evenings LA shortly thereafter. That's all this month. It's September. So stay informed, stay smoke, stay informed, stay smiling, hit that subscribe button. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video. When? Like it right now, Wendy, before you forget. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused. I'll see you next on Afternoons LA. That starts right now.